Hello, hello. Thank you for stopping by. It's Angel here. Welcome to or back to my channel. If you're new, hello. And if you've been here before, welcome back. Lovely to have you back in this space. So today we're doing a June intentions and decks video. How have we gotten to June so quickly? I don't know. It's crazy. This year is going so fast. So yeah, let's talk about the decks and intentions that are going to be coming up for me in June. So the major theme that's coming up for me in June is a mid-year reset, a re-evaluation and a reassessment of where I'm going in my practice, revisiting my intentions for 2024. And I've kind of felt, if you've seen my last video I put out, May's favourites, you'll know that in that video I was really up in the air with my energy. And so June is going to be really about grounding my energy and yeah, hitting the reset button. I'm going to talk about more about that in another video, so watch out for that one coming soon. So the decks that are going to be helping me with this practice, and that have already started helping me with this practice, is this one. This is the Spacious Tarot. And then we even have the Starseeker Oracle. This was an indie deck that I backed. This is an indie deck that I purchased. Yeah, and the Spacious Tarot, it just kind of felt, you know, a bit obvious, really. You know, I feel I need to clear out some things, have a bit of a reset, a bit of a, what's the word? A pause in my practice. So let's take a look at these two beauties. Now, I did used to use the Spacious Tarot a lot when I first received it. And I had it on my self-love altar for the longest time. And then, you know, new decks came into my collection. And other decks kind of started to take the place of the Spacious Tarot where it sat for me in my practice. So it kind of went away and, what's the word? And hasn't had much table time since then. And I was looking through my deck collection because I really wanted something with some calm images, I'm going to say, for the month of June. And this kind of like, you know, was kind of on the shelf going, hello. Me, think about me. So that's how that came about, basically. And this Starseeker Oracle has been on my mind for a couple of weeks, actually. And every time I came into my witch room, I completely forgot about it. And so I ended up putting an alarm on my phone to remind me to go and look up the deck and go and find it on my shelf. And so I just feel that these two are going to work really nicely together. I've already started working with the Spacious Tarot, and I've pulled a couple of cards from the Starseeker Oracle. But I really think that they're going to work. And I think this month I'm going to, well, I say this and then you know how this goes. I want to try and, you know, pare back on the decks I'm using. So I don't have any other plans to pull in any other decks apart from these two. So, you know, I usually put in, you know, quite a few tarot decks and quite a few oracle decks, but this month I'm just going to really pare it all back and try and take it back to the basics, she says. You know, my basic. So yeah, I think these are looking very promising. I pulled this card yesterday along with the Hierophant card. If you know what the Hierophant card looks like. Let's just see if I can find it, because now I feel, you know, I have to show you now I've mentioned it. Dooby-dooby-doo. Here we go. So I felt this was kind of a bit of a message for me yesterday. I sat with this and even drew these cards. I've got this, you know, stone circle here and this stone circle here, it feels like. So yeah, and we've got the wolf energy, which I absolutely adore because, you know, I've been working with my inner facets of self, and my inner wolf is something that I've been working with quite a lot in the last few months. So yes, that was the Spacious Tarot and the Starseeker Oracle. Another practice I'm looking, or not another practice, but well, yeah, another practice is Dawn Michelle's Fellowship of the Weaver practice, obviously. Let's take a look at the decks I'm going to be using for that. So for Dawn Michelle's practice, I'm using Seasons of the Witch Beltane Oracle. Yeah, I know, you know, Beltane has been and gone, but I still feel really drawn to this deck. Now, I do have the Lithia, I think that's how you say it, Season of the Witch Oracle, but that feels a bit too July, August for me in the season where I am, in any case. So this feels much more relevant at the moment. And I'm also going to be using Tarot to Carlotides, which is a deck that I pulled out for a recent video. And I've had real trouble reading with this deck. I'm just going to show you the backs because they're absolutely gorgeous. I'm going to edge mine this month as well. I pulled it out for a video, can't remember which one. And I was thinking, oh, these are starting to, you know, speak to me. So I feel that it's kind of time. Fingers crossed. Hold your fingers, hold your toes, cross your arms, cross your legs, and let's hope this is actually going to work for me this time. So yeah, let's have a bit of a flick through. Now I've tried to use, I say, some of my fantasy decks for Dawn Michelle's practice, because it feels quite, you know, quest-like. But this one also feels a bit whimsical, a bit, you know, a bit fairy tale, does it not? I mean, look, here we've got the Emperor with his new clothes. And I'm hoping that these two go together. I obviously haven't tried them. I love the size of this deck as well, I've got to say. I'm for June, because I'm feeling the need for the reset and the paring back. I don't want to have, this sounds really silly, but I don't want a deck that's big and bulky and cumbersome when I shuffle it. I just want something simple and easy. I just want things to be simple and easy this month, if possible. Last month I used the BoDleasons tarot of Earthly Delights, I think it's called, and that's quite big. It's bigger than oracle size, and so that was every time I shuffled it, it was like trying to get my hands around these massive cards, and yeah, so I didn't want that this month. I wanted something simple and easy to use. I think these two are going to work really nicely together. Obviously I haven't tried them yet, and it's the same again. Usually I bring in, you know, a couple of tarot decks, and I bring in a couple of oracle decks, and this month I really just want to make it one tarot, one oracle. I'm not promising anything can happen, you know how it is. I think there's lots of potential here. I really, really, really do, and I'm really hoping that this one is going to read for me and speak its messages. If it doesn't, there obviously is, it will obviously be, you know, switched out, excuse me, for something different. Because I don't want to kerfuffle. I don't want to kerfuffle with the deck. I just want to read it. Just want it to tell me its messages. So yeah, we'll take two more. And the last one. And then we're going to be moving along. I think it's looking promising, I've got to say. I'm just going to say as well that I pulled my card of the month from this from the Tarot to Carlotides, and I got the Four of Wands, which kind of really hits for me, I feel, with the theme of the month. You know, this reevaluation, this reassessment. I'm also looking at I've done a lot of work recently with a lot of shadow work and a lot of facets of self, and I've the last couple of days I've been doing some readings about resetting and the reassessment and the reevaluation I'm doing in June, and I've got a lot of messages about, you know, taking the time to appreciate how far I've come, and, you know, to take that time to smell the roses and to, you know, pause and yeah, take the time to celebrate the win almost. And I feel that this is really relevant to that, this stopping to appreciate how far, you know, I've come in my journey so far, and not be in a rush to move on to the next thing until I've kind of really soaked this in and integrated it almost, I feel. So that was a really interesting card to pull for the month of June. Speaking of cards that I pulled for the month of June as well, these two I pulled on the 1st, that was yesterday I think, which also really speaks to this, what's it called, this reset and this this kind of slowing down and taking stock. We've got the empty room, which is all about potential, about the clean slate, at the time to rethink and restart, and allowing yourself to be in that moment and not rush on to the next thing. And obviously then we've got the Judge, which mentioned actually about this practicing one day a week of silence, which I would love to do. which was mentioned actually both cards, which was really interesting. Taking a day a week just to be in silence. We'll see if that will work. On my day off, I'm going to try that. Now, obviously, I do live alone, but I have my kitty cats, so we'll see how they cope with me not speaking to them. So yeah, I'm going to try that because that felt like a bit of a nudge as well, considering it came up in both cards. So yes, those are my cards for June. I'm really looking forward to June actually, and the last couple of days whilst doing these readings about the reset, I was kind of thinking, I need to, decide at the beginning of June what I'm going to do, how I'm going to reset, how I'm going to reevaluate, and what my practice is going to look like for the rest of the year. And then I suddenly thought, why do I need to rush to do that? I don't. I can take the whole of June. I can take July to do that as well. It doesn't need to be a snap decision and then a continuation on the path that I'm on. I don't know why I feel this impatience to move on to the next step. I think I've kind of gotten what's the word? Waylaid with the destination instead of the actual journey of where this is taking me and what I'm learning on the way. I think that's where I've kind of gotten a bit caught up. I've kind of forgotten that, I think. So it's time to re-center myself and refocus that in the month of June. Other decks I'm going to be using, another practice I'm going to be working with. Well, if you've seen my May favourites, you'll know that I started working with my Inner Witch facet right at the end of May. I'm going to speak about the decks I'm going to be using for that practice here and now. So for my Inner Facets of Self-work and my Inner Witch facet, I'm looking to work with the Witch Sister Tarot. I've edged mine in last month. This is how this deck started to, started calling to me basically. And then I've even purchased at the end of last month the Witch Oracle. Woman in total control of herself, I think it's called, Oracle. Look at the backs on these. I don't know if I can catch these here. Beautiful. They came out of the box gold gilded. Same again, I really want to cut back. One tarot, one oracle. I haven't worked with this enough as a pairing to know if this is going to really gel with this, although I did buy this for this practice, she says, being on a low buy year, but we'll talk about that in a different video. What was my point? My point was that, so if this doesn't work, and even actually if it does work, this deck may well come into the play as well, which is the, a Compendium of Witches, which is edged in this, what colour is that? What's that? A mustard colour, of course. Let's bring this in so we can see. Why not? The more the merrier, right? She says, I want to work with only 2 decks. And then here I am working with 3 decks. You see, I break my own rules. It's terrible. Let's have a look at these 2 then, or these 3, sorry, can't even count now. So it could well be that these 3 work together this month, or it might well be that it's just these 2 if these 2 don't pan out together. Either way, the tarot deck is the main event. This is decided because this is like it's totally working for what I want it to work for. Oh, excuse me. So yes, I did an amazing reading with this deck and this deck yesterday, which this card coming up reminded me, and also the Selkie has also been coming up a lot in different different synchronicities as well. Anyway, so yes, I did this reading yesterday, and I got these 2 cards, plus the Lovers and plus the Death card, and all of them have got 2 figures either facing each other or facing away from each other. So interesting, so interesting. So I did a really good reading with that. Got a lot of answers about different things. So this deck is like chef's kiss. It's amazing. End of May as well, I was getting a lot of B synchronicities, so that might well be, a synchronicity that continues in June. We'll have to see. This is one of my favourite oracles in my collection. I do find the artwork of this deck quite dark. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but sometimes I find it, I don't know what I wish, but I don't know. I wish it had been a bit, I don't know, clearer. No, not clearer, I don't know. something, less saturated. No, I'm not sure what it is, but it's this is fine, but there's some images like that last one that feel a bit, this one feels a bit, it comes out better on camera, but in real life it's quite dark and it's quite difficult to see. Or it feels like it's blurry. Even this one feels blurry to me. But I'm just being a whingy, whiny person now, so you know, just need to get over myself. So we'll have to see how these three work out. I did have a person in the comments section in my May favourites mention how good or how well this deck reads and how comforting and supportive it is. So that's going to be really interesting to explore. Let's take two more. And here we go, here's the last one. So there we go. So the Inner Witch facet led on to the next practice as well. Let's have a speak about those ones, that practice and the decks I'm going to be using for it. If you watch my May favourites, you might already have a bit of a clue, a bit of an idea. So this was a practice that I mentioned in my May favourites. I didn't go too much into detail because it's such a new practice, but basically leading on from my Inner Witch facet, I felt called to reinvestigate this. Now, I'm not going to repeat myself. I'm just going to, give a really short recap. I'm going to link my May favourites in the description box if you want to go back, and I will timestamp where I spoke about this book and the reasons behind it. Just to say that I've researched, I started in 2020 researching my family tree, and I've found out that on my mother's side, I am, I'm going to say related, but, in inverted commas, to Jacquetta of Luxembourg and Elizabeth Woodville and their family line. This book speaks about Jacquetta of Luxembourg and her daughter Elizabeth Woodville, and the witchcraft, what's the word? When they were accused of witchcraft. And that kind of has piqued my interest, obviously, when I found out, and I obviously did some more research around it then. And then when the Inner Witch facet came through, this started resonating with me again. Now, I had already purchased this book, and I read it. I had already read it, and then I read it again in May. So these decks are for this practice, which I'm not going to go too much into. I might go more into it in June's favourites. So we'll see. We shall see. However, I feel it's once reading this book, reading the history around Jacquetta and her daughter, I feel that this inner witch facet that's coming through, obviously it's something that needs to be healed. So I purchased some new decks. I shouldn't have done, but I did because I'm an naughty girl. Mystical Healing Reading Cards and the Golden Tarot by Cat Black, I think it is. This one's by Ina Segal. So these were new for this practice. I'm also going to be using, whoops, things are starting to fall off my desk. Bear with. Okay, apologies, I'm back. Sorry about that. Everything was just about to tumble off my desk. It was a bit of a hairy moment. Okay, so yes, this is Hood's Tarot, or Hud's Tarot, maybe it's called. I don't know how to pronounce it. This is unfortunately an out-of-print deck, which I found second-hand for a bargain, so I was most impressed. These are the healing cards, as mentioned. I've edged mine in gold because, why not? And then this is the one I purchased, which is the Golden Tarot by Cat Black. These are the backs. I'm sure it's Cat Black. I've said that incorrectly. I'll put the name on the screen. See, I'm breaking my own rules. I just said I'm going to just work with one tarot and one oracle. And here we are with two tarot decks and an oracle deck. Oh, you see, I'm not very good at, keeping to rules. I like to go rogue from the get-go. The Judgment card is stalking me, I feel. But we'll talk about that in June's favourites if it continues to do so. Yeah, and I mentioned in my favourites that these kind of decks are not really my aesthetic. I would say that the only kind of medieval deck I've had previously is this one. But I just felt really, really drawn to work with it or work with or purchase these for this practice. Now, just to go back to the Jaquetta of Luxembourg and Elizabeth Woodville, Jaquetta, we're talking about the 1400s here, that they lived, the 15th century. So this kind of felt, you know, I felt I could kind of tap into that with these decks. Does that make sense? I don't know if I'm explaining myself very well. I'm not particularly sure. And I really want to get started on this practice, but I'm hesitating. And that came up in some of the readings, actually. I've done a few readings about this practice, and the Eight of Swords. Oh. Oh. I just realised the Eight of Swords is here. What a coincidence, I'm talking about it now. I was just about to say the Eight of Swords kept coming up for me for that. That's really interesting. I didn't clock that until I had mentioned it. Anyway, yeah, and the Eight of Swords kept coming up, which I feel is about, you know, I want to work with this practice, but I do feel like I'm blocking myself. So we'll see. And I am feeling a bit of a... Sorry, I've got a cat hair in my mouth. Sorry. It's all going on here today, honestly. It's all going on. Right, let me focus. Let me concentrate. Let me ground, because this video started off quite calm, I feel, and now we've gone a bit haywire again. That blooming squirrel is like, you know, is running around on the wheel in my brain. Do squirrels run around on a wheel? I don't think so. I think that's hamsters. Never. It doesn't matter. Forget it. I might have to edit this out. Anyway, so yes, the readings about this practice. The Eight of Swords keeps coming up, and I do feel myself, I'm hesitant about this practice, and I shouldn't be. I should just, you know, be calm and just get into it. And I will. I am going to. I just need to get out of my own way. Yeah. I'm feeling a need to speak about the crystals that I'm going to be working with this month very soon, so that I can kind of calm down. So these are the decks, obviously, I'm working with. I'm also going to be reading this book, which I mentioned in my May favourites as well. This came in right at the end of May, and it's a book that was mentioned in the previous book that I showed you. And this was a book that Jaquetta read as a young girl. She had a copy of this in her private library, and she had signed this book inside. And I don't tend to read books that just come up randomly in other books that I'm reading, but I felt a real draw to this one. Here we go. And I've let you read the back if you've seen that May favourites. So pause if you want to read this. I just feel there's something in here that I need to see or need to read. I feel it's relevant, but we'll see. Looking forward to reading this month. Yeah. Oh, another book obviously I'm going to be possibly dipping into is this book as well, Ancestral Magic, in conjunction with this this practice. I'm not going to say any more just in a minute, but you know, catch up with me in June favourites, and I'll let you know if I got out of my own way and yeah, how this practice went for me in the month of June. So there we go. Let's move along to some other bits and pieces that I'm thinking about doing in June. So other plans for June, yeah, I want to create a little shrine to Jaquetta. I haven't done that yet. I do have an ancestral altar. I want to somehow honour her and her daughter and that family line on my altar. So we'll see where that goes and how I do that. I might well share that with you on Insta. If you don't follow me there, the link is in the description box. Go and have a looky there. I joined Ivy the Occultist's membership end of last month, and this has been on my list to read for a long time. I already had it in my collection, and then I saw that Ivy the Occultist, that their book club is going to be reading this book this month, or over the next 6 weeks, and I was like, oh, yes, I'm going to do that. So I've tabbed all these off, the pages off, and these are the amount of pages I need to read within a certain date. And I look, I'm even organised enough to know when I need to be reading this. So yeah, that's my plan, to read that book this month. Crystals I'm working with this month, well, that's got to be jasper, a red jasper. I really want to focus on grounding my energy this month. As well as jasper, I'm obviously going to be using, not obviously, but I am going to be using selenite, I do sleep with selenite. Let's see if I can, what's the word, focus out and give you a bit of a look at my desk here. So I've got a whole array of, excuse me, selenite here, as well as some rose quartz. And then I've even got some selenite here in this piece of amethyst, which is actually a candle holder, but I like it for my selenite. So that's what that has been adopted for. Is that the right word? Don't know, it doesn't matter. Yeah, and I've also purchased, which I had not purchased. Yeah, I purchased this secondhand last month. Some I'm actually going to use embroidery thread for this. And I purchased these a long time ago. They've been sitting on my moon altar, which has actually been taken down. And oh, what's the word? What's the word when something is made smaller? Oh my goodness me, Angel, come along now, use your brain. I'm going to put them on the screen because I can't think. The word on the screen, sorry. Yeah, so anyway, this was for my moon work, but I've decided that this month I'm going to create a necklace like I did with my rose quartz and lepidolite, and create a necklace for this intention of clearing and resetting and reevaluating. So that's my plan as well for this month. Yeah, there's going to be some, some spell working around that. So watch this space for that. Yeah, anything else? I don't think so. I think that's pretty much it for June. Yeah, I really want to try and keep it simple. I'm sure you're watching this video thinking, that's simple? That's not simple, but it's simpler for me. I do still want to get a lot of things done in the month of June, so we'll see how far I come. No pressure on myself. I'm just, I'm going to try and go with the flow, and I'm going to try and, yeah, take it as it comes. Take it as it comes, we shall see. Anyway, let me know what you're up to in the month of June. What decks are you using? What are your plans? If you'd like to share, I'd love to know, because it's lovely to catch up with you, and it's also really lovely to know what other people are up to in their practices. So yeah, apart from that, I'm going to thank you very much for watching. Thank you for hanging out with me and spending some time with me, and I'm going to wish you a lovely June. I'm going to wish you a lovely morning, afternoon or evening, wherever you are. Take care, and hope to see you in the next video. Toodaloo!